Right now at 6, a Joplin man faces assault charges following officer-involved shooting.
And we've got a cold start out there this morning. We will eventually warm up this afternoon, and the gusty winds will make a return. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, authorities identify 48-year-old Claudio Manuel Neves Valente as the suspect in multiple academic shootings.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. At 6 a.m., I'm Samantha Walker.
Hi, Chris Warner. It is finally Friday in the 4 states, December the 19th. And, of course, for a lot of kids, last day of school today. Some of you don't even have a full day of school. Some of you may already be out. But it's got to be kind of exciting. Parents, we're excited.
Days. You know, watching Polar Express and drinking hot chocolate with your
tell me about
classmates and getting the biggest sugar rush you get all year aside from Halloween.
Because you don't get a Christmas vacation when you're working.
No,
you don't. You might get the day off. You might get that day off, but you don't get 2.5 weeks off and all that other business. But it's all right
because we have such a good time here.
We certainly do. It was cold in here. It's still kind of cold in here this morning, and because we had to run the air yesterday. It got kind of warm, and now the air's still running, and until it switches over, it's cold in this building. And hopefully you can switch your air back to the heat, because your AC and furnace are probably very confused about what you're doing. But so is Mother Nature. She's very confused about the temperatures. And we're cold out there this morning. We're going to start though with our live look from downtown Pittsburgh, and the skies are clear, but it is cold across the region. Winds aren't too bad yet, but they will begin to increase as we head through the morning into the afternoon. 7th range line looks good. KDOT camera 69400 and 171 also looks good. And one final stop to the MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. And again, you can see the traffic light here is pretty steady for now, but those winds are going to begin to increase. Let's take a look at those temperatures. 24 in Joplin, 23 in Pittsburgh. Like I said, these colors actually are kind of pretty blended like that. They just signal some less than pretty temperatures. 17 in Neodesha and Parsons. Those are our two colder spots out there. Cassville is now the warm spot at 30 degrees. And with the light breeze, we don't have major wind chills just yet, but we do have some. Independence, for example, it feels like it is 12 degrees this morning, 12, 15 Fort Scott, so it does still feel pretty cold out there. And these temperatures this morning are upwards of 40 degrees colder now than where we were 24 hours ago. In fact, Parsons right at 40 degrees colder today, or right now, than where we were 24 hours ago. Now, like I said, those south winds will begin to increase out there, and we'll have a mix of clear to mostly clear skies. We'll be dry, and with those gusty winds, they will bring in some warmer air. We'll be a little cooler than yesterday still, but we will be warmer by this afternoon. Won't be too bad by this afternoon. Kids out the door, 21 degrees. You'll definitely want to bundle up. 45 by lunch and recess, 52 as they head home. We're looking at low 30s by 9, mid 40s by noon. Highs today, upper 40s and low 50s, so pretty close to normal. And we'll have those south winds again gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Gusty winds continue tonight into tomorrow, and we're a little warmer tomorrow ahead of a cold front. We'll talk about that and how next week's Christmas forecast looks here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Authorities have now charged a man following a police chase that led to an officer-involved shooting. Newton County prosecutors submitted multiple charges against this man, Phil Berkey-Bile III of Joplin. Among the charges, second-degree assault on a special victim and aggravated fleeing. Authorities took Berkey-Bile to a local hospital after suffering non-life-threatening injuries from a gunshot wound in a vehicle crash. He is currently in the Newton County Jail on a no-bond hold. The incident happened Wednesday morning when a JPD officer spotted a suspected impaired driver on Main Street. The chase began after Berkey-Bile drove away following a stop attempt. Once finally stopped, he drove towards the officer, who then fired shots. Authorities arrested Berkey-Bile after he rammed another patrol car. No officers were injured. JPD placed the involved officer on administrative leave during the investigation. Well, authorities arrest another officer-involved shooting suspect after he leaves the hospital. Wednesday, the McDonald County Sheriff's Office learned this man, Dylan Martinez, the suspect in an officer-involved shooting from last month, was being released from a Springfield hospital after suffering multiple gunshot wounds. However, Martinez had already left the hospital and took a taxi to Bella Vista, Arkansas. Yesterday, Missouri and Arkansas authorities took Martinez into custody without incident. Martinez has multiple charges pending in both Missouri and Arkansas. The officer involved in the shooting, Deputy Mike Hall, was treated and released the day of the incident. We have more details on this case on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. While Parsons, Kansas police served justice in a case of Christmas chaos. Officers arrested the suspect, identified as the Grinch, for breaking into a local ice cream store to sample different flavors. Witnesses spotted the Christmas criminal in different locations around Parsons before police apprehended him. However, in the spirit of the holidays, authorities released the Grinch from jail and required him to complete community service.
We think that being able to do the community service and learn how to make his heart 2 sizes bigger like everybody else's during the holiday season, that'll help him learn some consequences.
The Parsons Police Department would like to thank the community with their leads and involvement in the case. You can watch the entire Grinch Caper story this Sunday right here on KOAM News. Well, police have identified the suspect in the December 13th shooting at Brown University that left 2 students dead and 9 others injured. Authorities say the suspect is 48-year-old Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, a former Brown student who was found dead by suicide yesterday. Federal prosecutors also believe Valente is responsible for the shooting death of an MIT professor on December 15th. An affidavit lists his last known address in Miami, Florida, though residents there say he does not live at the home. Well, President Trump is moving ahead with an executive order that could expand access to marijuana for many Americans. Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
President Trump signed an executive order marking the most significant shift in marijuana drug policy in decades.
We have people begging for me to do this, people that are in great pain.
The executive order expedites rescheduling of marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3 drug. It does not change federal criminal penalties for marijuana possession or expand access for recreational use, but it does increase medical marijuana research.
The facts compel the federal government to recognize that marijuana can be legitimate in terms of medical applications when carefully administered.
The move comes after President Trump touted his administration's policies and accomplishments during a primetime address to the nation Wednesday, focusing much of his remarks on the economy.
Inflation has stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down.
New data released Thursday shows inflation cooled in November. The Consumer Price Index rose 2.7% from the same time last year. But some Democrats say the president used his speech to exaggerate his economic achievements.
For 18 minutes, the president last night tried to convince Americans the sky is green, that trees can walk. He yelled at the camera and said that things are somehow going great, even though costs are up.
Recent CBS News polling finds a majority of people surveyed, 76%, say their income is not keeping up with inflation rates. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and his wife and 2 children are among 7 people killed in a plane crash at Statesville Regional Airport. Plus, a coffee shop in Northeast Oklahoma offers more than beverages, courtesy of a familiar face from the North Pole. And sunny and cool conditions in the 4 states. Chris has a look at your weekend forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, the NASCAR community is mourning after former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and some of his immediate family members died when a small private jet crashed in North Carolina Thursday morning. This according to a statement from Biffle's family members. Colin Jeffrey reports.
Approximately 10:15 a.m., we got a report of a corporate jet that crashed off the end of the runway on the east end.
Former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, his wife Christina, and their 2 children, Ryder and Emma, were among 7 people killed after a small private plane crashed at Statesville Regional Airport Thursday morning.
It's been a multi-agency response.
According to a release from the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, the post-crash fire has prevented the agency from releasing a definitive list of who was on board, but a statement from Biffle's family members confirms their deaths. 3 other people were also killed in the crash.
The airport now is closed until further notice.
Biffle is a licensed pilot, but it's not yet clear who was flying the aircraft or the reason for the crash.
I've watched racing for a long time, NASCAR, and I followed Greg.
Fans have already left flowers in honor of Biffle's legacy.
The memorial being started here, I think they're going to run out of room.
North Carolina Governor Josh Stein posted on X that Biffle, quote, stepped up for Western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene.
Followed them when they did the Hurricane Helene help, and I'm in shock.
Preliminary flight tracking data shows a Cessna Citation 550 left the airport around 10 a.m., traveled about 5 miles, then made a left U-turn back toward the airport. According to FlightAware, the plane did not climb higher than 2,000 feet. I'm Colin Jeffrey reporting.
The NTSB team investigating the crash arrived last night and will provide more details on the incident today. Well, still to come, mobile clinics rush free vaccines to communities hit by a measles outbreak. Plus, sunny and cool conditions in the 4 states. Chris has a look at your Friday forecast. And before we go, here's a look at some Santa pictures from across the 4 states. A coffee house in Jay, Oklahoma looks to serve up more than hot beverages, thanks to a familiar face from the North Pole. As KOAM's Ty Parks shows us in today's Doing Good, Mrs. Claus spreads holiday cheer and the joy of giving.
In Jay, Oklahoma, a woman saw a need in the community and stepped up.
People will come to Mrs. Claus sometimes before they'll go to a pastor because I'm less threatening.
Mrs. Claus has a purpose to remind people of the reason for the season.
And it's the whole idea, the spirit of giving. And so the reason Mrs. Claus exists is to teach children there's more happiness in giving than there is in receiving. And the first thing they do is when they are brought up here to me as a family, is I introduce them to the story of Christmas. The reason that we give is because God gave the greatest gift, which is Jesus Christ.
There is a selection of gifts that the children can give to their parents, as well as shopping areas to get toys for the children.
Where there are a lot of people that are financially stressed and don't have a way to buy presents for their children. And so we are transitioning our church into an outreach church. We want to reach out in the community, not within totally our physical building, but also we want to go out in the community.
Mrs. Claus Coffee House will be at the Jay Bible Church. People can stop by, grab a coffee, talk to Mrs. Claus about anything. In Jay, Oklahoma, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Anyone can help the Jay Bible Church or donate if they're interested. Just reach out to the church for more information. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, a very cold start to the day out there. We will start to warm up as winds increase out of the south through the morning. We'll go over those details with you and break down next week's forecast when we come back. Time now, 6:19. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:21 now on this Friday morning. We're going to begin with the future track. So again, this morning we are upwards of 40 degrees colder in some locations than where we were 24 hours ago. So we're talking a pretty big temperature drop out there, but we will warm up as we head through the morning into the afternoon. Through the morning, south winds will begin to gradually increase, eventually gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour or so. And we'll have a mix of just clear to mostly clear skies. Not much cloud cover out there whatsoever River for us. Winds actually will increase a bit late evening and overnight and start gusting 35, perhaps up to 40 miles an hour at times, ahead of a cold front that's going to come through Saturday. So by about 10, 11 o'clock, it's pushing into our northern counties. By noon, it's right along I-44, and then it'll continue to roll on out of here. So ahead of it, south winds, and of course you get right along it. Those winds will briefly shift out of the west on you, but they'll be gusting up to 30 miles an hour. So behind it, north winds will be gusting up to 30. But as you can see, other than a similar situation to today with mostly clear skies, there's not much associated with it. We'll eventually go partly cloudy though later in the evening Saturday into Saturday night. As we head into Sunday, we'll start to warm back up again, not by much. It'll be a lot like today from yesterday, where we're a little warmer. Saturday, though, even though that cold front pushes through, our lows Saturday night will still be warmer than where they are now, and they'll still be above average for many of us. By Sunday, though, we are looking initially at partly cloudy skies, and as we go later into the evening and overnight, eventually we're going to see an opportunity for an isolated shower or two out there. Otherwise, we'll just have clouds increasing after 8 and start going mostly cloudy Sunday night into Monday morning. As for this morning, clear skies, mid-20s to start, so cold compared to yesterday, but we warm up nicely, 41, or at least the low 40s, upper 30s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today, fairly close to normal. We should be the upper 40s. Some of our northern counties, upper 40s. Others, we're going to look at highs in the low 50s, so not significantly above normal. And as I mentioned, those south winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Clear skies through the evening. Now this, as I've mentioned this morning, that is not a mistake. It's not a typo. It's not this thing getting stuck. It is legit. Now, individual results may vary, as they say on some of the packaging. So up north, gets a little cooler. So let's say Fort Scott, for example, if you level out at 43 by sunset, that temperature won't really move. I might go up to 44 here for a bit. It might drop to 40, 42, but it won't move much, and that's what we're expecting. Temperatures will level out after sunset. South winds gusting to 35, and that's where we stay. Again, it might move a degree one way or the other here and there, but it should level out pretty steady. And then tomorrow we go into the upper 50s, low 60s, mid 30s tomorrow night. Upper 40s, low 50s return for our Sunday, and then by Monday, that's 60. Okay, that's not, that's above average. That's not too terrible. It's the rest of this that does not set well with, I think, anybody. Because this is it's the week of Christmas. It's not supposed to be that warm. This is a Florida Christmas out there. Upper 60s for Tuesday. We're looking at mid 70s Christmas Eve, and upper 60s, low 70s on Christmas Day. So a very mild week next week. So don't get confused though. Don't forget that Christmas is next week. Don't let the weather trick you into thinking, it must be St. Patrick's Day coming up. It's not. It's just not going to feel right outside. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over now to Samantha with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Lawmakers are heading home for the holidays without fixing soaring healthcare costs, and the message on Capitol Hill is to wait until next year. Some Republicans broke ranks to support renewing Obamacare subsidies, signaling frustration with GOP leadership. Meanwhile, Democrats remain skeptical, warning the damage may be irreversible after January 1st. Some Republicans want a complete overhaul in 2026, hoping special rules can bypass the Senate filibuster for a partisan bill. People with depression and anxiety face a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, and a new study looks at the reason. Research from Mass General Brigham shows that stress-related brain activity caused by depression and anxiety is linked to heart disease. Researchers say the findings reinforce that mental health and physical health are closely connected, and doctors and patients need to address both. Well, nicotine is bad for your heart and circulatory system no matter how you consume it. Research published in the European Heart Journal found whether nicotine is vaped, smoked, or from a pouch, it's toxic to the heart and blood vessels. The information comes at a time when more young people are trying nicotine, fueled by the popularity of e-cigarettes. Well, cases of measles are still popping up across South Carolina, putting unvaccinated children at risk. This is the newest hotspot in the U.S. for the highly contagious and potentially dangerous disease. Skylar Henry has the latest on the growing threat.
Across South Carolina, mobile health units have been offering free measles vaccine since October as state health officials respond to a growing outbreak. 135 people have been infected, and more than 168 people are currently in quarantine in the upstate region. State health leaders say declining immunization rates are fueling the spread.
When we lose the protection of vaccines against vaccine-preventable diseases, we are going to see the surge that we're seeing now.
The impact is being felt most in Spartanburg County, where vaccine rates are among the lowest in the state.
Parents are fearful.
Dr. Robin LaCroix is a pediatric infectious disease specialist and says the risk could grow as people travel for the holidays.
Because this virus is so contagious to people who don't have immunity, that it's very easily spread.
The CDC has tracked nearly 2,000 confirmed cases across 43 states this year, the most on record since the disease was declared eradicated more than 2 decades ago. 3 people have died.
So then how does this get better?
The way that we are able to control these vaccine-preventable diseases is by getting high levels of protection within a community.
For the first time in more than 2 decades, the U.S. is at risk of losing its measles elimination status, a warning sign that outbreaks like this one are becoming more frequent and harder to contain.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, property taxes are due soon in Missouri and Kansas. Well, you need to know.
And we've got a very cold start to the day this morning, especially compared to yesterday, but we will eventually warm up a bit into the afternoon, and the gusty winds will make a return. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, business minds come together in Joplin to prepare for 2026 and the growing influence of AI.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It is finally Friday, however you want to put it, December the 19th. We have made it. We are less than a week until Christmas.
And that is either a very exciting statement or a terrifying one, depending on how prepared you are.
Exactly. I mean, I feel prepared. I did everything I needed to do when it was cold last weekend, and I'm fine with that. My wife said she still has some things that she would like to get. And then I always feel bad because she always goes all out, and I'm like, she gives me a list, but I don't know what to get all the time. Last time she sent me, last 2 years, I went to Ulta Beauty because she likes some of their stuff. And so she had the list on her phone, and I just was wandering around, and I ran into a salesperson. I'm like, I need these things, because I had no idea. I could have been there for days looking for those things. And thankfully, this lady guided me everywhere I needed to go. So,
and sometimes that's what you have to do.
I had no idea. That's what I said earlier too. I miss Sears because you'd go in from the mall entrance, there's the jewelry counter, and then all around it was myself and about 100 other husbands, because they put all the gifts for women right in that spot, so we didn't have to go search the store. It was right there.
But it sounds like your wife is really trying to help you off by giving you.
She does.
A lot of people don't. Like, my mom doesn't give me a list, and I'm like, what am I supposed to get you?
I know. Like,
because a gift
want?
card seems impersonal for like your mother or your wife. Like, that's probably not going to go over great.
No, probably not.
But hopefully you've gotten something special.
Hopefully so, and maybe something. Yeah, sometimes it's just that one special gift that's enough. And I have no special gifts for you folks at home, unfortunately, because it is not going to feel like Christmas. Looks like it, just isn't going to feel like it. We'll talk about that in a moment, but first, we still have this Friday to get through. We've got a final day of school here for a lot of kids. We got, maybe for some of you, you've got next week off completely. Maybe this is your final day at work. And if you're heading out, it is cold this morning. Doesn't look like it. Looks nice. There's the sunrise coming in. But I'm going to show you some temperatures, and you're going to see exactly what I mean by how much colder it is now than yesterday. 7 the range line, looking good. KDOT camera 69, 400, 171 looks all right. And a quick stop to the MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. The few cars out right now are moving, always a good thing. And our temperatures not moving yet, at least not in the right direction, but they will be. Look, we got 24 in Joplin right now, 19 in Pittsburgh. 19. And across the region, as I've said, this is a nice blend of colors, but look at these numbers. We've got 17 in Parsons. That's the cold spot right now. We've got upper teens and low to mid 20s. Cassville, Monette, Grove, Jay, all at 27. So those are the warmer spots out there. And then you factor in the light breeze, no major wind chills. And the good news is the gusty winds should hold off long enough that will warm up just a bit. So even though there will be a wind chill, it won't be significant, which will be nice. But look at this too. This is what I was talking about. We're upwards of 40 degrees colder now than what it was 24 hours ago. In fact, Parsons is exactly 40 degrees colder right now than where we were yesterday morning at 6:34 in the morning. Talk about a drop. But as I mentioned too, it will start to warm up. Winds out of the south start to increase heading into the afternoon, and they'll be gusting upwards of 30. So not as breezy as yesterday, but still breezy. Just a few passing clouds here and there. Not a bad day, and temperatures again pretty close to normal for most of us out there. Here's the school forecast, the last one of 2025. Bundle up, 21. As kids head out the door this morning, 45 lunch and recess, 52 as they head home, and highs today again, they will warm. Low 30s by 9, mid 40s by noon, upper 40s, low 50s for those highs. Temperatures this evening will level out, which we'll go over a little later, and south winds gusting to 30. And as I mentioned, it's not going to feel like Christmas next week whatsoever. We're going to break down those details and our weekend forecast, of course, here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Well, whether you're a fan of paying your taxes or not, the bill has come due for residents in Missouri and Kansas. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more on what property owners should do to prevent themselves from paying more than what they have to.
The end of the year is near, and in the midst of planning holiday parties and buying gifts for the family, there is something else that should be on people's lists. Taxes.
The deadline to pay without any penalties, and the penalty's 9%, is midnight December 31st.
For residents in Missouri. And for those who live in Kansas.
First half of 2025 is the tax year we're working in now. The first half of 2025 is due normally December 20th. This year, since December 20th falls on a Saturday, it will be Monday, December 22nd.
Failure to pay will result in penalties.
Standard penalty of 9%. That's the law.
After December 22nd this year, interest is accruing daily. It's a simple interest, so it's not compound or anything. It's simple interest. It accrues daily. And again, that will only be on the first half. It doesn't accrue on the full payment since the second half isn't due until May 10th.
With the holiday season being stressful enough, both Jasper County and Crawford County offer property owners multiple ways to pay.
So you can pay online, pay in person, mail it, or hit the drop boxes. And we're doing the best we can to help make it as convenient as possible for the taxpayer to avoid the interest and penalties.
Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
As 2026 approaches, local business leaders face new challenges, from cash management to succession planning. The biggest hurdle, keeping up with rapidly advancing technology and AI. KOAM's Kenny Foreman shows us one group is helping companies navigate these changes.
As 2026 approaches, there are a wide range of questions that business leaders are facing.
Cash management, retirement planning, looking at just how you're developing your business and where you're going to go. And then ultimately down the road, succession planning. What's my plan to exit the business, and what's the plan for the business after I leave, and then what's my personal plan to give me purpose to do things outside of the business.
What makes this upcoming year unique is the ever-growing role of technology, which is constantly seeing advancements.
Probably the biggest challenge now is trying to keep up. Technology moves really, really fast. And if you are not able to stay the course or even understand the new technology landscape, most likely you're going to get left behind.
One topic that businesses will have to think about going into 2026 is the role of AI. The common consensus today is that there is a space for it in business, provided it's utilized correctly.
There is something about experience, wisdom, and connection with people that people are still going to be looking for that. But it's a great productivity tool. So I think there's an opportunity for business to embrace it. How do we get better? How do we provide better solutions for our clients, but still take that through the human filter to make sure what AI is providing makes sense when it comes to advice?
It may all sound overwhelming, but Stronghold Data remains committed to helping others.
You Learn to Learn is for the community. It's for them to understand better their technology needs, understand that there is someone here in the community that they can turn to that can help them out.
In Joplin, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Well, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. An illegally overhyped commercial vehicle damages at least 6 bridges traveling from Tulsa to Miami. Shannon Becker breaks down his big 3 stories of the week. Well, welcome back. We're joined this morning with Shannon Becker in the studio to break down his big three news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning. Things well?
I think so. How about you?
It's a heat wave. Loving this weather. Loving it.
Doesn't feel like December and doesn't feel like less than a week till Christmas.
I'm not complaining. Let's take a look at our big 3 stories this week, live and local, what's happening where you live. I heard you talk about the oversized load. I went to Northeast Oklahoma to find it. So here's what's happened. This oversized load, 16 feet tall, and normally 14 feet is the max that you can travel on the interstates. He struck, they're estimating right now that they're going to have to repair 6 bridges. They started yesterday. So this large piece of metal or whatever it was, we found it in Mays County. In fact, they'll be working in the bridge right there next to it on 370th Road all day today and then into the night. No one was injured in all of these bridges struck, but could you imagine the insurance? Your insurance would pay for these repairs. It's not like the state absorbs something like this. So let's hope they were insured, right? Our number 2 story, live and local. It was a call to 911 in Carthage on Friday evening. A woman said, my boyfriend just shot himself. Carthage Fire Department, Carthage Police, everyone arrived. And within about 20 minutes, I'm told, they determined it was a homicide investigation. They investigated and interviewed the woman during the evening and overnight, and then she was charged murder, homicide, 2nd degree at the Victorian Courtyard Apartments in Carthage. She's in the Jasper County Jail currently. More details of that developing story right now. Our number 1, KOAM News Now. We were live here on Wednesday morning. A suspect driving about 100 miles an hour south on Main Street. It became a police pursuit, obviously, and then as the officer tried to block in the suspect, you kind of say on Glendale Boulevard here, he had kind of crashed out. He got out of the ditch and drove toward the officer. The officer then fired shots at the suspect, who was struck, but the pursuit continued another 2 miles back to the Come and Go at 50th and Main. He was taken into custody. He is now in the Newton County Jail. There were non-life-threatening gunshot wounds and also was injured in that crash there. The young man is from Joplin. He's a 20-year-old man. You can find out more details, of course, also on our website. Here's a little lighthearted stuff, though. It's our bonus for the week, the Way of Salvation Christmas lights. It's on our KOAM Joplin News First Christmas light list. We've got them all, okay? So I think there's about 30 this year. Now, I love that. That's at the Carthage one, at the Way of Salvation. This is in Hickory Hills. They have the 1950s blow molds. They're kind of retro. You can also see them at the Joplin Museum complex. They have them.
Yes, I helped him decorate.
Oh, you did? You know Dustin Molinaro?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All right, yeah. So that is so, and these are my favorites because it's, for me, I'm old. So I like that old stuff. It's kind of cool. So the list is all arranged kind of in different areas. And then if you can click on each one, it'll give you directions from where you are to where they are. This is in Webb City at the King Jack Park. They were doing the Polar Bear Express this last weekend. What fun. And they've got a lot of lights throughout the whole park there in King Jack Park. You got to check it out. Our Christmas light list. There's none other like it.
No, and I know you spend so much time on it, Shannon. I know community members are so grateful because, you know, it makes it easy for them because, you know, you're like, you could always just drive around and see what you see.
You'll see nothing.
You'll see what you see, but you'd be like, okay, you know what? We have an hour tonight. The kids are going to get tired. Let's look at this list and just see where to go.
Well, thank you. I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for joining us this morning. We'll be right back.
All right, we got some birthdays and anniversaries as we head into Friday and this upcoming weekend. We're starting in Columbus with Ryder Kirkwood celebrating birthday number 3. Happy birthday.
And Berkeley Zimmerman is celebrating birthday number 9. Happy birthday, Berkeley.
And Anna High School in Owasso, Kansas, celebrating number 14, says love you bunches from your family.
And Kalia Karoff is in Farlington, Kansas, is turning 17 today. It says love mom and dad.
And we've got some twins, Marshall and Haley Fegan celebrating. We start with Marshall celebrating, of course, number 18. And we also have Haley celebrating number 18. It says love you mom and dad. And of course, these are twins. So a very happy birthday to you two.
Well, in Nevada, Missouri, I'm rough today with these city names. In Nevada, Missouri, Hazen Whaley is celebrating birthday number 18. Happy birthday.
And we've got Ty Marbury in Fort Scott celebrating number 19 today. It says happy birthday from Mom, Dad, Weston, and Jace.
And in Chanute, Nicholas Buchanan is celebrating birthday number 33. Happy birthday, Nicholas.
And still in Chanute, Sean Triber celebrating birthday number 47. Happy birthday.
And in Neosho, Jill Bowman celebrating birthday number 57. Happy birthday, Jill.
And because Chanute's where the party's at, we're heading back there for Tracy Rutledge celebrating birthday number 60 today. Happy birthday, Tracy.
And Marvin Roy Fells is celebrating birthday number 70. It says happy birthday from Robin, Matt, and the rest of the family. We love you.
And Josephine Davis in Crowburg, Kansas. And I'm probably saying that wrong. Could be Crowburg, Kansas, celebrating birthday number 84. Happy birthday, Josephine.
And you know, yesterday we had a lot of anniversaries in Columbus, and we're back at it today. We have a Columbus anniversary for Doug and Jennifer Westervelt, their 33rd anniversary. A very happy anniversary to them.
And a quick stop to our neighbors in Crestline, where Gary and Levon Lovell are celebrating their 59th wedding anniversary. A very happy anniversary to you.
And back in Columbus, Corky and Gina Zom are celebrating their 66th anniversary. A very happy anniversary to them.
And then our very own Kennedy Krokroskia is celebrating a birthday today. She's one of our marketing consultants here at the station. And of course, you can see Kennedy for all of your advertising needs, and we thank her and our team for helping to keep us on the air. See, they help us bring in some dollars so that we can get the heat or the air on and keep the lights on most of the time. Kennedy, a very happy birthday to you.
Yes, definitely. Well, back in Columbus, Mike and Hillary Evans are celebrating their 21st anniversary.
And in Columbus, Wayne and Juanita Dobkins is celebrating an anniversary. So what was going on at this time, this week, over the last, how far back are we going here? Over the last almost 70 years, the last several days have been the time for folks in Columbus to get married. And it's not all on the same year, obviously, but for some reason, this particular week was a good week for weddings in Columbus. That's something we should check out. Yeah, I guess so. Apparently, this is the week to do it in Columbus. So, of course, if you would like to celebrate your birthday and anniversary with us, and who wouldn't, because it's fun, right? I mean, you learn a lot of interesting things about people in your community. Samantha has some information you should jot down.
Well, of course, we want to celebrate you, so make sure to send those birthdays and anniversaries, pictures you want us to include, to birthdays@komnewsnow.com. You can see that email on your screen, but you can also see the deadline on your screen. We want to make sure we pay attention to that so we can make sure we're able to celebrate with you on your special day.
Yeah, got to make sure you take note of that deadline over there, because you do not want to miss your loved one's special occasion. So it's very important to get that in on time for us so that we can get it in on time for right here. All right, today we're starting upwards of 40 degrees colder now than where we were 24 hours ago. But don't worry, it will not be 40 degrees cooler by the afternoon. We will warm up, not significantly, but we will do some warming. Through the morning, temperatures will climb, south winds will increase, they'll start gusting upwards of 30, and we're looking at mostly clear skies across the area, so not too bad of a day. And that's what I mean, there's a couple of clouds here and there. It's just going to be breezy, so not as windy as yesterday, which is good, but still breezy. And if you're driving especially high-profile vehicles on any east-west highways, you want to just keep that in mind. Now, winds will increase a bit overnight tonight. They'll start gusting upwards of about 35 miles an hour as we head into Saturday morning. Still mostly clear skies. And with these south winds, our temperatures tonight, they just hit a spot and they stop dropping. And that's really expected to be right about sunset. So once the sun goes down, whatever temperature you're at across the area, you're very likely not going to move maybe more than a degree or two either way from that spot for the rest of the evening and into the overnight hours. Now, Saturday, winds come back down a bit, 30 miles an hour. Cold front starts pushing through in the morning hours, and by noon, it's along I-44. So ahead of it, gusty west winds. If you're immediately ahead of it, those winds will briefly shift out of the west. Back behind it, gusty north winds, still pushing 30. And even though this cold front will bring some slightly cooler temperatures to us, it doesn't cause our temperatures to plummet by any means. In fact, even with that cold front, tomorrow night's lows are going to be warmer than where we are right now. They'll be warmer than even tonight's lows in some cases. No, they won't. Here we go. Clear skies, beautiful sunrise out there. Mid-20s to start the day, but we warm nicely into the low 40s by 11 o'clock this morning. We've got another look at your forecast and, of course, your wake-up recap in just a moment. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., a classic turkey leg gets a bold makeover with Cheez-It coating at the Citrus Bowl. Sounds pretty tasty. We got that and a lot more at 7 a.m.
This is your Wake Up Recap for December 19th, your top stories to start your day. Authorities have now charged a man following a police chase that led to an officer-involved shooting. The incident happened Wednesday morning when a JPD officer spotted a suspected impaired driver on Main Street. The chase began after Berkey Bile drove away following a stop attempt. Once finally stopped, he drove towards the officer, who then fired shots. Authorities arrested Berkey Bile after he rammed another patrol car. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And again, we will warm a bit heading into the afternoon. Upper 40s, low 50s, mostly clear skies. South winds picking up, though, gusting upwards of 30. Temperatures, as I mentioned, level out. They just stop right there. Around the mid-40s. South winds gusting to 35. We're still mostly clear. Cold front tomorrow afternoon brings us down a bit, but we do start warm. Upper 50s, low 60s, low 50s on Sunday, perhaps an evening shower or two. And then, yeah, I don't control the weather, man, I told you. But look at next week, heading into Christmas, upper 60s, low mid-70s out there as well. So it will not feel like Christmas, but at least the roads will be clear, right?
We got to think positively.
How's that for you?
Well, thanks, Chris. Coming up today at noon, we're making brown sugar glazed ham in the Mr. Food Desk Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings as TikTok has signed a deal to divest its U.S. operations. We're going to go over that on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over us on Fox 14, where we talk to Shannon Becker about his big 3 stories of the week.
Plus, Mrs. Claus spreading some holiday cheer and the joy of giving in Jay, Oklahoma. That and a lot more on Fox 14 in just a couple of minutes. Going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.